Minnesota North Stars all-time leading scorer, Tom Reed. Frank and Tom, it's all yours.
Wait a minute. Now, how many points did you get in the NHL? I know I beat you by a couple anyway.
Okay, chew on that one for a couple of periods. We'll see you guys at the intermission. This is going to be a very tough bracket for anybody to come out of. Whenever you've got Warroad, a number 2 ranked team in the state in your bracket, tough to come out of. Not to mention the evening sessions tonight with the number 1 ranked team in Red Wing. Going to be very difficult for any other teams to come out.
Yeah, it will be, Frank. This is going to be very tough. But Warroad still is the favorite here. They got a very strong team. Kerry Eads is very happy with the play of his team coming into the playoffs, and you're going to have to go some to beat his Warriors.
Okay, let's take a look at, first of all, the visiting Tigers from Hutchinson, and 3 players who have some state tournament experience from a couple years ago.
Well, you look at Sean Kenoy right now. He is one of the guys that really knows how to make things happen for the Warriors. He's for the Tigers. He's one of those players that you really have to go to. But on the other end also, you've got number 17 here, Matt Ulwelling. The question here is how good is his shoulder? He has been injured, but he's also a player that scored 38 points on the year. And he missed 8 games, but he is still one of the players also that Kerry says is
so if names necessary. Like Ulwelling and Martell and Hepner sound familiar for the Warriors from Warroad, well, because they are familiar. This is their 4th consecutive appearance. They won it last year, and they won it 2 years ago. We'll have the opening face-off, the introduction of players, and the reading of the sportsmanship statements after this on UPN 9. Warroad and from Hutchinson. So we will have the introduction of the 2 teams from this first session. We'll go down to the PA announcer and Mr. Bob Reed. Robert?
Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, and again welcome to the St. Paul Civic Center. It's time now to meet the cheerleaders and mascot and the entire roster for both teams. Let's start first with the visiting cheerleaders from Hutchinson. Please greet Andrea Tracy, Brooke Bakken, Amy Ashinger, Alana Sifrith, Kelly Ponath, Katie Ward, and the mascot tiger, Sheila Moss. The Hutchinson cheerleaders and mascot. Now let's greet the cheerleaders from the home team, Warroad. Introducing Missy Tweet, Solveig Grafstrom, Ivy Arneson, Tammy Skogman, Cindy Ernstrom, and Jenny Story, the Warroad cheerleaders. And now let's meet the complete roster. First for the Section 6 champions, a record of 16-9, the visitor this afternoon, the Hutchinson Tigers. Number 7, sophomore wing, Colin Emmons. Number 9, senior defense, Josh Karg. Number 10, junior wing, Kyle Dolder. Number 12, junior center, Zach Ogren. Number 15, sophomore wing, Eric Summerfield. Number 16, senior center, Adam Tweet. Number 19, junior defenseman, Corey Johnson. Number 21, junior wing, Jake Betker. Number 22, senior center, Sean Knorr. Number 23, sophomore wing, Matt Lobeck. Number 24, senior defenseman, Mike Bierlin. Number 26, sophomore defenseman, Jesse Doherty. Number 27, junior center, Justin Martin. Number 29, senior defenseman, Joel Reiter. Number 33, sophomore defenseman Eric Nelson. 34, junior goalie Isaiah Brown. Number 35, senior goalie Carl Metzen. 36, sophomore wing Kyle Wendling. Number 37, junior wing Eric LeBratton. And number 43, sophomore wing Ryan Caping. The Tigers' assistant coach is Chuck Wadeen, and the head Tiger coach Todd Grinna. The Hutchinson Tigers. And now let's meet the home team, the Section 8 champions, a record of 21-4, the Warroad Warriors. Number 1, junior goalie Justin Ferguson. Number 2, senior wing Matt Cole. Number 3, junior center Josh Hepner. Number 5, junior center and defense Drew Parsley. Number 6, senior defenseman Mark Carlson. Number 8, sophomore wing Joe Ulwelling. Number 9, senior defenseman Adrian Hasbargen. Number 10, junior wing Jackson Heron. Number 11, sophomore wing Donnie DeMars. Number 12, senior wing Brian Paulin. Number 13, junior wing Chris Hontvet. 15, freshman defenseman Lee Marvin. 17, senior center Matt Ulwelling. Number 18, sophomore defenseman Dan Redford. Number 19, senior wing Tanner Martell. Number 20, junior defenseman Greg Collard. 21, junior center and wing Brian Cole. 22, senior defenseman Bo Johnson. 27, junior defenseman Jay Hardwick. And 39, junior goalie Sean Cameron. The assistant Warriors coach is Dennis Fermoil, and the head Warroad coach Kerry Eads. The officials for this game, the linesman is Mike Saba. The referees are Steve Beckman and Lynn Smith. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stand and join in and sing as the Warroad High School Band, conducted by Jim Holland, leads us in our national anthem. We'd like to introduce one member of each team representing the visitors from Hutchinson, number 24, Mike Bierlin, and representing the home team, number 8, Joe Ulwelling.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Minnesota State High School League. We appreciate your attendance at this tournament and hope you enjoy it.
The State High School Hockey Tournament is being played under the rules of the Minnesota State High School League. These rules provide for fair play, good sportsmanship among players and coaches. As athletes, we ask that the spectators promote the ideals of good sportsmanship, fair play, and respect for our opponents and the calls of the official. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Bierlin and Joe Allwelling, and now it is time to play hockey.
The formalities and introductions have been completed, and we are just about ready to get underway as Carl Madsen gets ready to take his position. The Swedish exchange student will be in the nets. He is in his senior year at Hutchinson High.
And just his first year as a member of this hockey club. Last year he played for a club team in Sweden, and his father has flown in, Rooney, to be here for this tournament. But he is really, according to their coach, Todd Grinner, the heart and soul of this team, and we need him to play well, especially when you're playing against a team as talented as the Warriors are.
And the Warriors goaltender, as they are wearing the home white jersey for this game, will be a goaltender who has just sterling statistics, 1.86 goals against. Justin Ferguson. Tommy only has 3 losses.
Frank, 3 losses. He has 2 shutouts in the 3 games they played to get to this state high school tournament in the playoffs, and 5 shutouts on the year, but he's a very solid player. He led the state last year in his goals against average as a sophomore, and he has paid his dues and now has the opportunity to play for Coach Kerry Eads.
The Warroad Warriors looking to defend their 1996 Class A high school championship, and they will begin to defend it now as they drop the puck, and Matt Allwelling wins the faceoff, and the Warriors turn it over at center ice. And from the scramble, it's driven in by defenseman Jesse Doherty for Hutchinson. Hutchinson making just its second state tournament appearance, and the Warriors here forced into a bad pass just 18 seconds in, and an icing. And was that a hit or a collision, Tom?
It was more of a collision than anything else, Frank, but unfortunately there was a player that was injured on the play, and that's Jesse Doherty that goes down, and there's going to be a penalty. He's going to call him a cross-check. They came in pretty tight together. Matt Allwelling right here, you can see it's just a little touch, and that's all it takes. Sometimes lost his footing, and into the boards he goes, and that hopefully was just something that will last just a few seconds, because they certainly need Jesse back on that blue line.
That time it looked like he hit the boards, both knees head on into it, and you just hope that it's analogous to the crazy bone in the elbow, where it stuns, it's painful for quite a while, but hopefully Doherty will be able to shake it off. Allwelling has gone off on that cross-checking, and boy, you know, that is a... We're talking about penalties and injuries to teams. It's been my observation that checks and penalties are no longer strategic moves. They're more to inflict pain than they ever used to be. And I think we had a pretty clear example of that right there.
Yeah, I think you're right, Frank. Right now, they're also attending to the ice and so on along the behind the net. You can see the trainer Jim Marshall from the University of Minnesota, longtime trailer, who was here in attendance. And what happened, I think, when he went into the boards, is that he had relaxed just momentarily because the whistle had gone on the icing. When you relax like that, and I don't think it was anything that was done real intentional on the part of Matt Allwelling here, but they're just coming together as they're going for it, and the balance is just lost. I don't think it was a real vicious type of a hit, but nonetheless, it is a hit. And once you relax like that, all of a sudden, you leave yourself open to injuries. And right now, he is standing on his skates, which is a good sign. Now we'll see, if he can get back in the lineup. But this is a team that doesn't need to have any more injuries, because they have been decimated with injuries this year. Ryan Caping, one of their sophomore wingers, had his thumb broken, and he has some shoulder problems still. Jake Betker is one of their leaders on this hockey club. He's out with a broken jaw, and also Mike Bierlin, who has broke his leg in a football game, and he's been to every practice and every game. He probably won't play much in this session, but those are 3 key players, and losing another fellow like this certainly hurts them defensively.
And a very unpopular, unfriendly way to start a game. Not a very... we're just 18 seconds in after that icing. The faceoff will be back in Warroad territory, and the first power play of this game is going to go to Hutchinson. And right from the faceoff, goaltender Ferguson has to make a quick save.
The start is so important for both of these teams, too. I mean, you get to this level, you've got to work hard to get here. And once you get here with all the hoopla that takes place and the media coverage and your family and friends and you're in the state high school hockey tournament, to be able to say that really creates a lot of butterflies for a lot of players. And you just have to play through those. And usually one shift on the ice will do that for the players. Then you settle down and play the type of game you're looking for. But right now, Hutchinson really needs to stay in touch with what they're doing here. They've got the power play. They've got to try and make it work for themselves.
And right now, they're bottled up in their own end. The pass by Justin Martin. Too far. It's way beyond the reach of Kyle Dolder. And with the power play, Tigers are going to be called for icing here and a face-off back in their own end. I don't, particularly coaches would like to keep a flow going and keep some momentum going. Sure, you're not going to turn down a power play chance in the first minute, but it also gets the rest of your team a little bit out of sync.
It does, because it doesn't get everybody on the ice right away. All of a sudden, you got a power play. You bring out your specialty teams, and some of those players may sit there now half a period before they get the opportunity to get onto the ice and get a feel for it. These players have not skated on this ice surface.
Bucky Paulin won the face-off, and the first shot by the Warriors. Bo Jackson went wide of the net, and now the power play for Hutchinson. They'll try to get it on track. They only have 1:05 to go, and it's brought to center ice by Martin. Martin getting it into the zone. He's jammed up on the rail. It's played in deeper by Colin Emmons. They look for Knorr. Now instead the centering pass comes right through, and the loose puck grabbed easily and shot down the rink by Brian Paulin. Mattson out to play it. Tipped to center ice and then driven right back in by Adrian Hasbargen, and an offside against Warroad. Still in a scoreless first period and 42 seconds remaining on the Hutchinson power play.
A look at Justin Martin. One of the keys also for the Tigers has been the play of this youngster. He leads the team in assists this year, 28 assists for a total of 48 points, including 3 shorthanded goals. Very heady player, a good playmaker, and when you're strong down the center, as Hutchinson has a couple of key players here in the likes of Knorr and Martin, it makes the job a lot easier for the wings.
Yeah, they've really rolled up the points in their career. Knorr with 138 career points. Justin Martin, the other center iceman Tom was talking about, 86 career points. Back to get it, Kyle Dolder. And less than a half minute, as you see, on the power play for Hutchinson. And they haven't generated much offense with it. Brought in now by Knorr. And a nice save by Ferguson. And the Warriors get control of the puck and with authority cleared the zone, but it hit the linesman Mike Saba. From center, it's driven in by Hasbargen again. And that should wipe out now the penalty to Matt Allwelling. He steps on. We have played just over 2 minutes. And Allwelling brings it in on a rush. Fires, and he fired wide. Allwelling doing a good job of pulling away from the Tiger defense. Back out at center, it's poked ahead gingerly by Matt Lobeck. He gets it in the zone, but Allwelling back there to take it away. Now it's relayed by Carlson to center. They throw a check, but Allwelling gets the puck. Cuts to the middle, and Mattson makes a big stop again. The Warriors are going from a penalty kill mode into a pretty high offensive mode in a hurry. Blocked at the line by Justin Martin, or I beg your pardon, by Jay Hardwick. And then back to get it is Matt Carlson to pick it up in the Warroad end. Warroad, the champions of Section 8, they roll it ahead. And it's flipped right back by Josh Card. And another hit on the near wall. I thought I saw an arm come up. Yep, we are going to have a penalty coming up out of that hit. So with the score, Warroad nothing and Hutchinson nothing. This is High School Hockey 97 live from the Civic Center. Herb Marsley is going to go off on a boarding call. So 2 pretty rather aggressive penalties against Warroad in the opening minutes of play.
Frank, you're going to see that call by the officials also. You see the little shot he takes along the boards here, coming in from the side. It wasn't checking from behind, but the officials have been instructed also. Anything along the boards like that, call them, because they don't want the injuries to take place. We've had a number of tragic accidents that have happened this year in hockey, in the kids' level, and they are trying to curtail that as best they can.
Out to center ice, flipped just a little bit too far for Knorr. And now the Warriors are able to dump it right back in. Here's Justin Martin turning. He leaves it back behind the net. The pass back for Martin. Fails to click, and the rush broke up by Tanner Martell, number 19. And here's Colin Emmons again now for the Tigers. And a little miscommunication, a little jittery, I would say the Tigers are right now, as they're on the power play, but misfiring on passes and having a little difficult time getting on track. Out at center, Knorr. But he runs into a crowd. Emmons tries to bring it in. Was knocked off his stick at the blue line. And in the broken play at the blue line, it's offside.
Frank, you mentioned Hutchinson having a difficult time. They are, and one of the reasons is because of the good forecheck that Warroad is throwing against them. You got a guy like Matt Owelling, who is a terrific skater, good heavy player, and he's just positioning himself, especially in that offensive zone, trying to take those passes away. And right now the Tigers not doing a very good job of skating up to the level that they should be on the power play.
Knorr in for the faceoff with the draw won by the Warriors, and it's driven all the way down the rink by Jay Hardwick. Back to get it is Kyle Dolder. Dolder trying to move up on the far side. The play is broken up by Paulin. He moves in. He's covered but gets the shot off. And kept in now at the blue line by Bo Jackson. Beg your pardon, that'd be Bo Johnson. We would like to have Bo Jackson's salary, I'm sure, but Bo Johnson flipped it in.
He plays a lot of sports, doesn't he?
He does. And a rush to get it Johnson again.
Here we go. This is only the first day.
I'll be all right. All I need is that first check, Coach, and I'll be in the game. There's Knorr. He takes it to the corner, gets a return pass, centers it, and it's tipped. Finally, Paulin gets it and shoots it down the ice once more in less than a half minute on the power play.
Well, Bucky Paulin wanted to get off the ice there, do a nice job of just taking on the backhand. Doesn't have to be hard, just accurate, and all the way down there to the off. That's when we clock.
Checked on by Emmons, and then he got the worst of it. And a centering pass by Zach Ogren was deflected away. A shorthanded rush by Hasbargen. Gets a high shot off that goes into the corner. And it carries to the right point. No one there. The Warriors get back to full strength now as Drew Parsley steps on. And we've got just under 10 minutes to go in the first period of this first quarterfinal game. Here's Parsley. Centers it. And Matson turns that shot away from Adrian Hasbargen. And it goes up out of play. We get a stoppage. 9 minutes and 29 seconds left in the period. So look at Adrian Hasbargen, who had the last shot. And with the score, 0-0. We'll take a break. This is High School Hockey 97, live from the...
Some opportunities right now, and they've gotten some pretty good goaltending against them right now. Carl Matson's able to get a piece of that puck. See Hasbargen move in here, takes a shot, just going off the blocker of the Swedish senior netminder over top, and so the faceoff will be to his right.
Matt Owelling's line is out for the Warriors as they get ready for the faceoff. Josh Hepner, the left wing, Tanner Martell on the right. And the draw to Hutchinson. It's kicked around by defenseman Eric Nelson. Back at the line. Good play by Lee Marvin to cut across to keep it in. Turnaround shot by Hasbargen goes all the way, or by Martell goes all the way through. And the rush by Sean Knorr to center. Hits the Warroad line, gets the shot off. Ferguson makes the save and covers up before Kyle Dolder can come in for the rebound. So the first concerted rush by the Tigers and a little bit of crisp play coming up the rink led by Knorr.
Nice play by Knorr also. Picking up the puck, he'll cut to his left to give him some more room here. Gets a shot on net, but coming in from the right wing position also is Kyle Dolder, who comes in looking for a loose puck. None to be had as the netminder Justin Ferguson is able to hang on to it. Dolder's one of those players also who can score some points for you. 39 points on the year. But also a very aggressive player. Has the most penalty minutes for the Hutchinson Tigers with 34 minutes on this season.
Knorr in for the face-off. That line will stay out for the Tigers. The Warriors continue, or make a change. They'll bring Bucky Paulin's line out. He'll handle face-off, but now he's waved out. So Brian Cole comes in. Matt Cole, no relation on the other wing. And as that puck is played ahead, it hit a glove up on the Warrior bench, so we'll have a stoppage once more. Face-off just inside the Warroad end. 9:02 to go in the period. The Warriors have had a couple chances. Most have been from longer range out. Matson not really tested yet, and I don't think they kicked their game into high gear yet either.
Frank, it was kind of funny yesterday at the media afternoon session with the coaches. Todd Grinnan was talking about playing the Warriors. Now, this is more like David and Goliath, and at the banquet last night, I guess that Reverend Toby Wilson, who was there giving the invitation, talked about David and Goliath, and then Todd said at that point, I gave Kerry Eads a little kick under the table, let him know that maybe something good is going to happen to our team.
Warroad rush comes in, and Matson will, again, another long chance for the Warriors. and Matson's able to cover it up.
Yeah, what you'll watch here also is these goaltenders will hang on the puck. They won't get rid of it unless they're absolutely sure. They're just one shot away from advancing to the championship side, and so both these goaltenders know the importance of hanging on to the puck and not giving it away blindly.
Johnson's long shot from the point was deflected. Herron behind the net tries to center. It hits the base of the net, and then the skates went out from underneath Justin Martin. That creates a turnover. Shot by Adrian Hasbargen. The rebound trickles wide. And the loose puck is to Herron, but he can't control it. And now Justin Martin brings it to center and dumps it in. Ferguson leaves the puck nicely for his teammates to start to move it ahead. But Jackson Herron was tied up. Now another hit along the boards. The puck underneath a body or two. And also a lost bucket. Ryan Caping lost his helmet. And he is all right. Perhaps that's why the whistle went as quickly as it did.
There's a look at Kerry Eads, the fourth-year coach of the Warriors. Had a pretty good career, played at the University of North Dakota, graduated in 1982, and in that years he played there, picked up a couple of WCHA titles and also NCAA titles. And was a member of the St. Louis Blues farm team, played in Salt Lake City for a while, and really had his career cut short, Frank, from he broke his neck. Playing, had to get out of it, and he's been fortunate to land with the Warroad team, and the support that he gets up there. I'm sure there's a great deal of pressure up there, more so maybe than some of the minor league teams, because they certainly want a winner in Warroad, and they have done a tremendous job in that community of supporting this hockey club.
A little bit, I think the story by the end of this tournament is going to be the fact that Eads has loosened up on the range a little bit, at least it tells us.
Yeah, but he still has the spurs, right?
Yes, that's what he also tells us, and he told his players, too. All right, I'll let you guys freewheel a little bit more, but remember, I've got the spurs. And all of that happened after an 8-2 loss to Moorhead. Matson in his first test comes up big as the scramble in front, a couple of chances, including one by Allwelling.
Matt Allwelling had a good chance, but the puck was bouncing a little bit. You could see the goaltender also was down. Matson was down right here. A little lunging here, a little bit off balance, and trying to cover up the puck. You go down, and once you're down, it's awfully hard to get up. And there's a shot coming from Allwelling just 2 feet outside that crease area. But Matson in the right position also to grab on.
Allwelling, the top line, remains out there against the Kenora line. Kenora has Eric LeBrotten on the left wing and number 10, Kyle Dolder, on the right. And right now, Martin is trapped underneath, that being Justin Martin. Turnaround shot again, fired wide of the target. Warriors have had the opportunities, but they're having a little trouble hitting the net. Nice interception by Kenora. Has to battle through two checks. Dolder at center, and the left wing feed gets away from LeBrotten. He gives chase, but it's taken away by Mark Carlson. Can't get it out of the zone. Kenora back to center. And now an interception by Lee Marvin, out of the famous Marvin clan of Warroad. He dumps it, and he'll go off on a change. And Dolder misses that pass. Back to get it, Mark Carlson. 7:15 to go, so we're halfway through period one. No score. Defending champion Warroad and ranked number 2 in the state against Hutchinson, a team that's not ranked and finished 4th this year in the Minnesota Conference. Matt Cole to center ice. They leave him alone, so he brings it in. Another high, long shot, juggled by Matson, gloves it and holds on, and we'll have a break in the action. First Bank scoreboard shows you Hutchinson nothing, Warroad nothing. Winner in the First Bank March Tournament Sweepstakes. Just stop in at any First Bank location to ask about the First Bank Home Equity Loan Special Offer. Register to win one of 4 $1,000 shopping sprees at Mall of America. Winners will be announced March 22nd during UPN 9's Game Time coverage of the Boys Basketball Championship action. 6:52 to go in the period, and Warroad with a 7-3 edge in shots on goal. Puck pushed around to the far side by Eric Nelson. And another turnover as the Warriors are able to control. Back to the line. Hardwick goes across. Johnson's shot deflected. It's in the air. And finally gathered in by Paulin. Paulin will try to dart in front, and Matson gets a piece of it. Another hard shot fired wide of the target. Another Warroad shot, this one by Johnson, but again, wide of the mark. So it had 8 on goal, and I'd say at least 8 misses.
Yeah, that's part of the problem right now. They're not getting the shots on the net, and when they have, Matson has played up big for them.
Kyle Welding stepping in front to break it up. Now Donnie DeMars. And Matson makes another long-range save. DeMars goes after it in the corner for Warroad. He takes a nice hip check. But the puck remains in Warroad's possession. A blast from the line, and Johnson's shot goes wide. Johnson, just a freshman, but he is racking up some nice points this year. Maybe I should say nice point totals. Matson making a big save on Parsley from the doorstep. And Warroad has really got the sustained pressure going here. Another blast by Johnson. That deflects wide. Now from the other side, Hardwick shooting. Doesn't reach the net. Well, Matson's getting good protection out front. And the way he's going right now, he can use it.
Well, he needs some right now. A couple of the players from Hutchinson have lost their sticks at one point. And right now the Warriors have really turned on the afterburners because they are skating and they are firing.
Johnson digs it out, sends it around, but now it's picked up and cleared by Eric Nelson. Still not out of the zone. It's tangled up in the skates of Hardwick and fired down the rink by Josh Targ, but blocked at the line. He tried to get it down, looking for some relief, and a shot wide of the target again. Tanner Martell with a nice move to get in close, but he missed the net. Now Hutchinson with the break to center. Martin bringing it in. Centers in the slot. Will there be holding? No, I guess not, and play is called as Ferguson covers up. Boy, it looked like the Hutchinson player coming in was held as he tried to shoot, but there'll be no penalty called.
Well, all the action was back in the Tiger zone, and all of a sudden when they break out of their own end, they pick up the puck right here. You'll see Martin doing a nice job with the puck, getting it across here. You've got to move into it. This is where Caping comes in. He makes a little play over to Emmons, who comes in. He looks like he was tied up pretty good there with the stick. And so there will be no penalties, I don't believe. Oh, yes, now there is a penalty.
Well, they did get him.
Yeah, they did get one, and that's going to be...
You know what, Tommy?
Hepner, who's going to be called coming back. That's going to be Josh Hepner, who is called.
But it's going to be a horse apiece here, too. Hepner's going to be gone. And also going off will be Justin Martin. So this apparently coming up after the little skirmish there. But I'll tell you, Hepner had a pretty good hold on Emmons.
And they're going to be both called for roughing.
Yeah, Martin off and Hepner off. And we'll be back. 0-0 the score. First coincidental minors of the game. And a scoreless first period. Face-off control by the Warriors. And back to get it is Hasbargen. Nice job of dancing there to get free. Played it up looking for Lee Marvin, but couldn't connect. And a break in by Matt Allwelling. He centers it, a tip in and a goal. Perfect pass by Allwelling to Martell, and Warroad is on the board first.
Oh, what a nice play it was. And Frank, all the hard shots that we've seen resulted in no goals, but that little play there brings things right back into perspective. We talked about Matt Allwelling and Tanner Martell, how important they are to this hockey club, and you're going to see why, because these two guys have picked up a lot of points all season long, and that just continues to go the same gamut for them as they've taken the lead in this game by a score of 1-0. Breaking down the wing, all of a sudden, control is everything. Watch Matt Allwelling, but also look at the top of the middle of your screen. Getting around the defenseman. Good job by Tanner Martell to do that, as the defender could not hold on to him, and he just redirects the puck, was going through the crease area right into that net, and he's given this team the all-important first goal of this hockey game. 1-0 for the Warriors over to the Tigers.
Good teamwork, and that's why they are the top-scoring line. Allwelling picking up his 39th point. Martell his 35th. And it's a 1-0 score. That was the 11th shot on goal, and now Matson has to cover up on number 12. As he's a little bit besieged here in the period. Hutchinson has taken only 3 shots. But the senior goaltender from Sweden has been a busy man.
Well, one of the things we talked to the Tiger coach before the trade, Todd Grinnan, said, we have to keep this game close. We can't allow them to get a break and just run up the score on us. And the longer it goes, the better it is for us. And right now, I think his team they got to be pretty happy where they are because of the fact they're only down by 1 goal, and that one shot can make a big difference here. But it's been pretty well all Warroad in this first period.
Hasbargen rolling it in deep. Donnie DeMars after it. And a little battle for the puck. Heron nearly got away. And it scoots loose once again. Zach Ogren behind the net. On the far side to Colin Evans, and he'll take it back behind the net for a little protection. Boy, everybody's covered. Their breakouts are difficult. One reason is that Warroad's got everybody, he's got the wingers covered. Pass intercepted by Karg, but he can't control it. And then it's dumped into the Warroad end. Heron, in the middle of a Hutchinson change, throws it away at the blue line. Relayed and tipped to center by Joel Reiter. And Reiter dumps it down. I don't think he meant to do that, but it's an icing infraction anyway. With 3.5 minutes to go in the period. The only assist on that goal was to Allwelling as Tanner Martell scored his 22nd.
And Tanner Martell, one of those players, and a very physical player also. He's got some pretty good size, at about 180 pounds, but has a brother, Kane, who's playing in the United States Hockey League, where a lot of players develop to go to Division I, getting some experience that he is playing for the Rochester Mustangs.
A little bit of a slow change here and getting ready for the face-off. Allwelling finally, well, they're still not sure who's going to be in there. Allwelling finally.
Well, he thought he was going to be in there.
He's tossed. Tanner Martell comes in. And the puck under no one's control yet. Martell nurses it along the boards, but Knorr is there to pop it right out to center ice. Brought right back by Allwelling. Takes a hit, and a nice hard hit on the far side from Emmons. I beg your pardon, that was LeBrotten with the hit. The Tigers regrouping. They're only down by a goal. And 3 minutes left to go in the first period. And now we're going to have a tripping penalty, I think, coming up on Kyle Dolder. And the Warriors will go to their first power play of this game.
Well, as you mentioned, he will go. It will be a tripping call going against Dolder. And he's going to be called for tripping Tanner Martin. You watch the play right here. Look where the stick is, right down on the skates. Down he goes, and so the power play opportunity goes to the Warriors. Their first one of this one.
Players that he's still serving those minors, being Hefner and Martin. With the break in the action, we'll be right back with the 1997 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
UPN 9's game time coverage of Minnesota State High School Hockey.
Lead on the 22nd goal of the year by Tanner Martell. And the Warriors, with the lead, now have a 5-on-4 power play as Donnie DeMars slips it into the corner. Jackson Heron after it. DeMars back to the line. Hasbargen goes across. A blast, and Matson right there to make the save. Good hard rip by Mark Carlson. And there are some experienced guys with Hasbargen and Carlson back on the blue line for this power play.
Carlson's a very offensive-minded defenseman, too. He comes in here, he takes a shot. Look at the height of the shot right here. It comes up a little bit too high, perhaps, that he did not want it to be in that position, but also Carl Matson able to see the puck coming all the way through.
Another little bit of a slow change. Wait for Matt Allwelling to come from the bench. This is a conversation now. They're setting strategy for a play, and Allwelling finally comes in. Allwelling with 5 power play. I beg your pardon, only has 1 power play goal. The Warriors have not relied an awful lot on power play goals this year. Their leaders in that department are Donnie DeMars, who's now off the ice, and Tanner Martell. They each have 4. Back at the line. Hasbargen. Carlson. And back to Carlson again. Allwelling. Fires wide of the target. Hasbargen has it once more, has a little trouble controlling. And now Mark Carlson, 2 minutes left in the period as Carlson fires and scores. Boy, did he rip that one. A good 40-foot shot, and it's 2-0 Warroad.
Now you can see the big difference with that shot coming also from the point. It was a lot lower than the shot he took earlier. The one just about a minute ago was quite a bit higher, so the goaltender was able to handle it. But you watch this team move the puck around on the power play. They are a very skilled, well-coached hockey team. You can see also Hutchinson a little bit deep back of there. They're allowing those shooters to take those shots. They got to be more aggressive and move a little bit more to the points. but Carlson will take that shot coming from the point position to give his team that all-important 2-0 lead here. And a couple of assists on the play. Adrian Hasbargen will get 1 assist, and the other will go to number 3, Josh Hepner. But it's in the net, and that's where it has to be.
Goal number 4 this year for Mark Carlson. So the defenseman steps up at a key time to pick up number 4 and gives Warroad a 2-0 lead. That, by the way, a power play goal. And a race for a loose puck. Dolder after it, but he was just beaten to the puck. Nearly snuck up him from behind on the Warrior defender. Back in the zone to get it. Joel Ryder out to center. Dolder fires a long one. Ferguson making a save. Only the 4th of the period. And the first in quite some time. 91 seconds left to go here in the first period.
Well, that shot was a little bit disturbing here. As you watch it, Kyle Dolder coming in here, high shot, but watch the goaltender here. What you want to do is get away from the net. He takes a look, but he turns towards the net. He'll turn towards the net, and all of a sudden what happens there, if he happens to drop it, it's going to be looser. You really want to take that puck and move away from the net. Move in behind the goal line. Don't go towards it, because if it drops, he's in trouble.
Especially if you're not sure that you've got it very well,
Right.
which is what his main concern was right there. He was not fully in control of the puck. Puck squirts deep in the zone. Ryder went after it, but he's beaten to the play. Here's Emmons. And a little forecheck pressure now by Martell, who centers it for Ulwelling. And a big, hard hit by Martell. The side of the net. From behind the net with a minute to go, Hepner. And while the Warriors control here, they're not able to generate any playmaking. At the line, Johnson. Shot goes wide. But Broughton trying to get some control in the scramble. It comes loose again. Warroad capitalizes on the turnover. And Dolder finally back to get the puck. 40 seconds to go in the period. Dolder to center. Tries to dance around the defense. Nice little drop pass. Knorr moves in. He's smothered. A loose puck. And it won't go. Now LeBronton is tackled down and it flies wide. Hutchinson, a blast from the blue line and a high shot taken by Karg. And the puck tipped back out at center. That might have been their best chance to get on the board here in the period. Alone in the slot, Metzen is beaten. And the goal scored by Brian Cole. 3-0 Warroad.
Well, you see what happens at one end. The Tigers have a golden opportunity. They can't put it away. And the Warriors come right back to the opposite end. And it goes into the net. It's just one of those things, Frank, and we've seen this time and time again over the years, that whether it be at this level or the professional level, the college level. The one team has a little bit of action. You think they can make it happen? All of a sudden they can't. But what a nice effort also by Matt Cole to get the puck out here as he was being bothered here by 2 defenders. And we get the puck out, and all of a sudden Brian Cole comes in. And he puts it away, the senior to the junior. And you look at also the disgruntled goaltender, Carl Madsen, too, as the puck goes in between the legs and the pads of the goaltender. It's in the net, and 3-0.
Well, instead of being a 2-1 game, it's now 3-0. And it's offside at the blue line with 0.6 of a second on the scoreboard clock. And I'm sure the folks from Hutchinson would just soon have had the 6 seconds click away to begin the intermission and regroup for the second period against the defending state champs.
Well, that's a tough. Yeah, it really takes a lot of the wind out of your sails. When you're down 2-0, that's one thing, but if you have that type of a goal scored at you with just a few seconds to go in the game, that really hurts going into the locker room.
So we've completed the first 12 here. Beg your pardon, the first 15. We'll have a 12-minute intermission. Terry Eads carries his intensity to the dressing room, where his Warriors have built up a 3-0 lead, and he has to guard against some complacency here, to say the least. But they've outshot Hutchinson 16-6 in the first period. Had a little bit of a slow start in that their chances were off target. They certainly had a lot of good chances. But once they got clicking, they were clicking pretty good.
They did, Frank. They had 16 shots, as you mentioned, but the thing is they did miss a lot of those opportunities, and you can bet when they go back in there that what they're going to try to do is to talk a bit more about taking those chances, those quality opportunities, and making the most of it. Don't rush the shots. This is the type of team that, you know, can score a lot of goals, but you've got to get those shots on the target to make those goals happen.
Hutchinson, on the other hand, looks like a team with some good speed. I think they may need to use that to their advantage going into the second period. They will need to do some dancing to get around a very tough and bigger defense. Go down to Andy Skoogman down at ice level.
All right, Frank, thank you very much. I'm with Todd Grinna, Hutchinson coach. Coach, give me your thoughts on the first period.
Well, we played pretty well for the first 7 or 8 minutes of the period. We played really well defensively, and Carl was in the game in the nets. We can't afford to make mistakes because they're too quick, and they just jump all over us on the loose pucks, and they capitalize on our mistakes.
What do you tell your kids in the locker room to stay focused?
Stay focused and just keep working hard and concentrate on our defense, and hopefully we get a chance to shoot the puck. We put the puck on the net and have to go to the net for rebounds.
Coach, good luck in the next 2 periods.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, that is Todd Grinna, the Hutchinson head coach. His team down by 3 goals after 1 period to be defending the Class A champions. We're going to go back to our UPN 9 studios for a news update, then we'll return to the St. Paul Civic Center. You're watching the 97 Boys Hockey Tournament here on UPN 9. On its road back to a possible repeat, they lead Hutchinson after 1 period in the Class A quarterfinal by a score of 3-0 after that goal late in the first period. Welcome back to St. Paul, everybody. I'm Jeff Grayson, and if you think Hutchinson had a long road here, about an hour's trip or so to St. Paul, it's really even longer than that for one of their students. Joining me now is Runo Mattsson, who has come here from Sweden. Runo Mattsson's son, Carl, is an exchange student from Sweden who plays for Hutchinson, and we'll also talk with his host, Rich Martin, whose son, Justin, also plays for Hutchinson. In a second, we'll start with Runo. What's it like for you being here, first of all, getting a chance to watch your son Carl play?
No, I'm just watching hockey all 2 weeks, and I think these 2 weeks have been the best of hockey I have seen for my son, and I follow him a lot in Sweden.
Was it a hard decision to have him come here to the United States as part of this program?
No, it wasn't so hard for us, but I think it's hard for him. It's in the language and the team and the school and the family, but he is very good because he has a very nice family.
We're going to take a look at him playing right now on the screen here, making some saves in the first period. Making this adjustment, how do you think he's coming along?
I think it's rather good.
We're going to talk with Rich Martin, who is the host and whose son Justin plays for Hutchinson. What has this been like for you and your family, Rich, having Carl here?
Just a great experience. I think Carl and Justin have become very good friends, and we're looking forward to when Justin graduates. We want to go over and visit the Mattssons over in Sweden. So it's going to be a real great time again over there in another year. And it's been a great time with Carl. I think Carl has such good work ethics that it really has helped my son, who has a brother that graduated here a year ago that was very close with Justin, and he missed him. So Carl is kind of a fit-in brother for him, and it's just been a great experience for our family and everybody.
What do you think your family's learned as you watch Carl assimilate and learn things here in Minnesota? What do you think your family's learned watching him go through this?
Well, I think the adjustment in life, he's had to come over from a strange country, I guess, over here, and he's had to adjust his lifestyle with us. And I think Justin and our families also learning how we have to adjust in life as we go on. We're making those adjustments every day, but we can see, like Carl, make those adjustments. I think it's much easier for us to do those kind of adjustments as we go through life.
Ronald, we'll finish with you. As you go back to Sweden, what will you tell people here about Minnesota?
I haven't seen a lot of Minnesota. I have seen the hockey all the time, and I like it very much.
So you'll tell them about the hockey?
Yes, I do.
All right, Ronald Mattson and Rich Martin, thank you for joining us, part of a great exchange program. Back with more, including Frank and Tom's thoughts on the first period of play. You're watching the state hockey tournament from the St. Paul Civic Center. Warroad has a 3-goal lead after 1 period in this Class A quarterfinal, our first game of the 1997 Boys State Hockey Tournament. Welcome back to St. Paul, everybody. I'm Jeff Grayson. A quick injury update. Jesse Doherty injured his knee 18 seconds into the game for Hutchinson, has a contusion, but he was actually out skating again. He's okay. There's more concern about Matt Lobeck. He's number 23 on the ice for Hutchinson. He has a possible fractured collarbone. He's going to go to the hospital after the game for x-rays. So Matt Lobeck, possible fractured collarbone. And we'll go back upstairs now to Frank Mazzacco and Tom Reed. Guys, a hard-hitting first period.
And Hutchinson's got to wonder about what they're going to have to do to stay healthy. It's just been an awful year for them in that department. And here, I'm sure, like many are surprised about the Lobeck injury. We don't remember the hit or remember seeing him go off hurt.
Frank, a lot of times things will happen along the boards or in an area you think it's relatively mild, but sometimes you just get hit the right way or you hit those boards and they don't give too much. Then you do have those injuries. You'll have to watch for that.
It took Warroad a while to get on the board here. At 10:32, they get their first goal.
Nice pass here by Matt Olwell, just makes a perfect pass across to Tanner Martell, who breaks away from the defenseman. He's all by himself there, and the big guy gets his 22nd goal of the season.
And that was at 10:32. They answer on a power play about 2.5 minutes later. Mark Carlson.
They do such a great job of moving the puck around here, but Mark Carlson also is able to keep that puck nice and low, and the goaltender, you can see, has a hard time with it as Carl Mattson was looking for it and couldn't get it. And then here to make it 3-0, all of a sudden, it was Brian Cole who took a nice pass from Matt Cole, coming in here, beating the goaltender to give it 3-0 where we are right now.
3 goals in the span of 4 minutes and 16 seconds, and they outshoot Hutchinson. They outshoot them 16-6. There's the score, 3-0. We'll be back with our second period in this Class A quarterfinal action in a moment. A lopsided edge for the Warriors, 16-6. And a look now at the Civic Center from the GMC Skycam as we look down on center ice, getting ready for the face-off that will begin. Period number 2.
Tough getting that blimp in here, isn't it?
It is.
Through those doors, those revolving doors.
Hope the darn thing doesn't explode, you know? And we're underway. Penalty box is empty. 5 skaters aside. A little interception by Knorr. And back out at center. It's flipped in by the Warriors' Tanner Martell. Welling behind the net, centers it. Martell in the backhand, and Mattson making the save. And the pressure starts in earnest early in the period here for Warroad.
And there is a lot of pressure that's being taken right now by Warroad. Matt Olwelling once again was at a tremendous period. Get to that puck first, and all of a sudden you make the pass out in front. And who's there? His familiar partner, Tanner Martell, who has it on the backhand, but he does not have time to go to the forehand. Just trying to get it in behind the netminder, Carl Mattson, who has been tested thoroughly here in this hockey game.
We mentioned the shots on goal in the first period. We should follow that up with the stats we're keeping up here on quality chances. Warroad had 21 quality chances in that period to Hutchinson's 3. So that also means that 3 of the 6 shots on goal by Hutchinson were from pretty long range. And now a penalty spotted by one of the officials that was a delayed call. So we'll have the first penalty and first power play of the second period. The score, Warroad 3 and Hutchinson nothing. This is High School Hockey 97, live from the Civic Center.
Johnson is going to get the first penalty of this second period as he's called for interference. Watch right here. You got to have the puck before you can hit him. And that was not the case as he takes his man down pretty heavily. I believe that was Justin Martin that took that hit just inside the blue line. Pretty good hit, too. So the Tigers go back on the power play, Frank. This is where they have got to do something. They've had 2 power play opportunities, have not put a lot of pressure on the netminder, and they're down by 3. They need to do something to get on the scoreboard.
They'll have to regroup as that puck came out of the zone. Elwelling goes after it, but Mattson plays it away. Takes a bobble or 2. Aaron had it. Now back at the line. A hard shot by Elwelling goes wide. And even shorthanded now. Warriors are applying some pressure. Martell. And finally works it up on the far side. Johnson got it ahead. And a hit. That brings the crowd to life.
That could have been called for interference also because the player had not touched the puck.
Here's Knorr. Pass intercepted at center, but a loose puck picked up by Colin Emmons. He runs into a bit of a traffic jam there, had to go back for it and dumps it in. But now they'll have to filter in after it. Jay Hardwick plays it around, and all the way back to get it now will be Justin Martin. Under a minute to go in the power play for Hutchinson, and Martin brings it ahead with some authority, gains the zone, but ran into a check. Carlson after it, finds an opening, gets it out, and a race for the puck now. Dolder behind his own net. Pretty aggressive forecheck right now being applied by Parsley. Forces a turnover. It's 2 out. Oh, Here's a shot in the goal by Donnie DeMars. A short-handed tally makes it 4-0.
Wow, and what a play that was also. When you've got possession of your own zone, you've got to make certain that you move the puck properly. That was a failure of the Tigers to do that. Donnie DeMars intercepts the puck. He also had Drew Parsley, who was right beside him. It was a two-zip right here. Watch right here as he steals the puck away. All of a sudden, two guys coming together. He's going to pass or shoot. Makes the right play here also. Gets a little bit of an opening, and DeMars, a sophomore right winger, who scores his 17th goal of the season to make it 4-0. And he put a lot of... You notice when he went back with that shot, he didn't come way back with that stick. Just lets a little snapshot. Get it away quickly. And he does just that and puts it in.
It's so important in getting off a shot. The slap shot anymore is too easily telegraphed. If you can have the half swing and still get some power on it, much more deceptive for the goaltender. Still 18 seconds of power play, not much time for the Tigers from Hutchinson. Center ice, they flip it in. It's batted out with the glove hand and done so with authority by Hasbargen, but maybe he took a step or two with the puck.
That is
certainly closed his hand on it, that's to say the least.
That is Warroad's 5th shorthanded goal of the season. They have not given up any shorthanded goals, but they have scored coming in turn at 4, and so with Donnie DeMars scoring his 17th of the goal gives him 5 for the year.
And that's his first shorthanded goal.
Boy, he has been hot too. You watch the...
Yeah, you can't do that. You can drop it, you can throw it, you can glove it, you have batted ahead, but don't turn it into a handball there.
DeMars has been hot as of late too. He has picked up 3 hat tricks in his last 10 games.
Right up the middle, an interception, and Madsen makes a big save on Lee Marvin. In the middle again, another shot wide, and a delayed penalty coming up on Hutchinson.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be in front of the net for holding also, because Tanner Martell was camped on the doorstep there, and the defenseman back there, Josh Karg, I believe, is going to get the call for that as he was holding on. Let's see who escapes to the box, and it will be Karg.
And it'll be the second power play for the Warriors. They already have a 4-0 lead. This is High School Hockey 97, live from the Civic Center.
Out the kitchen and bath sale at Menard.
Well, a penalty will take place, and it will be to Hutchinson, as Josh Karg is called for holding. This will be the 3rd minor penalty to the Tigers, and also give Kerry Eads' crew an opportunity to go back in the power play. If you look at Josh Karg, he's a senior, and although he's not very big, he's a pretty good hitter. He's a very defensive style. The Warriors right now 1 for 1 on the power play. They've also scored a shorthanded goal.
Carlson, I don't know if he has an equipment problem or an injury problem, but they're going to bring somebody from the Hutchinson bench over to take a look.
It looks like it's an injury problem, I think. I don't know if he's cut a little bit or not. I wouldn't be surprised if perhaps if he's all right, he'll stay in the net.
That's Isaiah Brown, the backup goaltender.
It's like the groin area, or the knee area they're looking at right now. Backup goaltender is Isaiah Brown, who's a junior, has not played a lot. He's only played 39 minutes. If he gets the call, and in that stretch had 17 saves, but not a lot of time. This youngster right here, Carl Madsen, has played the majority of games, a record of 16-9 on the season. And now, right now you can see him having a little bit of a problem bending that. May have overextended the knee just a little bit on the inside. Jimmy Marshall, as we said, here for the high school hockey tournament once again. Has been here for, I think, longer than the high school tournament's been around. But the Tigers are celebrating.
They may need to go back in an ambulance here tonight, get a very large medical bus. But Madsen's going to be all right. He's going to stay in.
I was going to say the Tigers are celebrating their 25th year of hockey in Hutchinson. And at the first game, they brought in the original coach, Geoff Docken, who was the first coach 25 years ago. Many of their players for a big celebration, and just kind of showing the kids today that these are the guys who started it all for you guys, and just carry on the tradition there.
Hutch hockey, they call it. Had a fun year this year, as we told you. They're in the Minnesota Conference with a 4th place finish there, and a nice run here in the playoffs. Hutchinson with wins over Annandale Maple Lake. That was an 11-0 whitewash. And then they beat Orono 5-3 and Chaska 6-3.
Chaska is coached by Dennis Maruk, the former NHL player for the Minnesota North Stars, Washington Capitals.
And his son John will be participating in the tournament.
I saw him at Parade Stadium last week. He was hoping that he would be in there and also his son would be in there. Maybe an opportunity to meet up someplace along the line.
Head to hand. His son John plays for the Breck School, and they'll be playing in the first evening session game. So power play now for Warroad. And Allwelling shot and a nice glove catch by the goaltender Matson, who seemed to react pretty well to that one.
Once again, Allwelling has just been spectacular in this first game, and he picks up the puck. And the one thing about him, he's got such great size too. He's 5'10", about 182 pounds. But once again, a quick snapshot, the shot a little bit high. You can see the goaltender. It doesn't appear, Frank, that he's feeling the effects of that little bit of a strain on his knee. He may later on. He's able to make a little bit of a split save there and grab on.
1:43 to go. The draw to Carlson. They go cross rink. Another shot stopped by Matson. Saves the rebound. Might have saved a third shot there with Martel on the doorstep. Carlson again at the line. Leaves it for Allwelling. Carlson. Allwelling moving in. Back to Carlson. Spinorama. 1:20 on the power play. Carlson wide open and fires a goal. Mark Carlson, his second goal, both on the power play. Warroad now leads 5-0.
Boy, I'll tell you, these two guys have really teamed up on this power play opportunity, Allwelling and Carlson, because they were just moving the puck extremely well. Allwelling doing a great job. What a player he has been. Remember, we talked about him earlier and the fact that he suffered a shoulder separation. He's coming back. But look at the little play behind the back here. Back to his teammate, Carlson. Carlson is back to Allwelling. He's going to take it. He's looking. The place to go to is the open man as he was being checked. And Carlson just unloads another big shot. Defender there not even able to get in front of it. But it will be the second goal of the game for Mark Carlson, his 5th of the year. A power play goal to give his team a 5-0 lead.
So Warroad answers with 2 goals here in the period. DeMar's shorthanded. And then just a little bit over 2 minutes later, you just saw Carlson with his 5th. Allwelling gets the only assist at 4 minutes and 42 seconds. That will make it 3:42. So they do tend to score in bunches. That's just a minute and 22 seconds difference. Scored their 3 goals in the first period in a span of 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Face-off coming up in the Warroad end. And out to handle the draw, Jackson Heron. Carlson gets a piece of it. Heron reaching for it. And now Hutchinson will try to regroup at center. Played ahead by LeBrotten. Up off the boards, a nice block at the line. Eric Nelson, they feed it up and hit the post. Kyle Dolder bangs one off the pipe. And now the Warriors back the other way, and as it's brought into the zone by Heron, he was tackled. Matson makes the save, and in the scramble, Matson makes another save. This time he holds on, stopping the last shot by Drew Parsley. And a little bit of tempers flaring up, but the officials get between them. We'll take a break. Our Menard scoreboard shows you the Warriors ahead by 5.
Action once again in front of that Hutchinson net here. Warroad just putting the pressure on, and a lot of things happening. When you're in tight like that, elbows go up a little bit, the sticks it up a little bit, and all of a sudden we are going to have a couple of penalties. Watch right in front of the net. You can see the stick being pushed down there. And that's where the injuries take place. There's not a reason to do that at that stage of the game. But there will be some penalties. You can see the stick, and he comes right back up, and I certainly can't blame him for that.
No.
But that's going to be Josh Karg of Hutchinson and also Jackson Herring of Warroad that will pick up roughing calls.
Looked like he was trying to slice some cheese there, and it wasn't working very well. So the cheese retaliated. Broken up at the line, and it's back out at center again. Martin got it to the line, and then it's touched now by Colin Emmons. Hutchinson called offside. They're down here 5-0, but still early in the second period. They'll face it off out at center.
Now, Todd Grinner, the coach of Hutchinson, is one of those guys that knows that he had his work cut out for him in this hockey game. You look at him on the Nope, he's not there. He's some other place there. He's a little bit to the left of those his assistant coaches. Chuck Whedon is one of his assistant coaches who played for Tom Sadigal from Bloomington Jefferson.
Marvin's long shot blocked away. Marvin gets it again. Here's Hasbargen shooting. Madsen makes another save, but the puck goes into the corner. Wendling gets a piece of it. And as we skate 5-on-5 here, Tigers throw it behind the net to regroup. Takeaway on the along the far boards by Brian Cole. And a race for the puck again. Wendling is there. He takes a big shot and is knocked down. Puck is cleared down, and back to get it is Marvin once more. One of two grandsons on the team of Cal Marvin. Very familiar, colorful, and friendly face.
Sure is.
Up in the Warroad area. I'm staying on Cal Marvin's good side, whatever I have to do.
Well, here's a look at the Hutchinson Tiger coach right now, Todd Grinna, who's in his 10th year, 9th as a head coach. He spent 1 year with the Owatonna. He's a graduate of St. Cloud State back in 1985 and was a member of the 1980 Grand Rapids State Champions in high school play.
It's also been a good year in Hutchinson. They sent 3 wrestlers to the state tournament. The boys swimming team finished 3rd in the state. Girls basketball also had a chance to be in the tournament, came up a little short. Hutchinson in central Minnesota, west of the Twin Cities area. And a little forecheck pressure now applied by Sean Knorr. I don't think Knorr's been able to get loose like Hutchinson would like him to be able to.
He's been the most effective player they've had on that Hutchinson team.
But there's a size differential. There's going to be another Hutchinson penalty coming up now.
Knorr who gets it.
Yep. So not only do you go shorthanded, but you lose your most effective player out there, and they get him for hooking.
Well, he was trying to apprehend Josh Hepner right around the center ice area in front of the penalty box. He could have stopped there and just gone right into it, but kept on going with it. You'll watch right here as he comes back. It's okay to come back and give him a little tug there at one time, but you can't do it continuously. And the referee doing the right job there making that call. And the power play, once he sees a hooking call, will go against the Tigers.
4 minutes and 20. Now we'll make it 6:42. Hooking. Carlson back to get it at center ice. 5-0, and two of the 5 Warroad goals have been on the power play. A third special team goal, shorthanded. They have 2 goals in this period. Here's Carlson playing it in. Madsen makes the save and then covers up quickly. And that's because Heron was just flying in looking for a rebound.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to let anything go in that particular case. When you're down by 5-0 as his team is right now, you've got to hang on to that puck. It was not a hard shot, but he also knew full well that all of a sudden coming in, trying to get that puck was Jackson Heron, and so he'll just grab on. His penalty killers back on the ice.
Carlson plays it across. They work it right on the doorstep for Parsley. And it's DeMars who goes after it. DeMars picked up their shorthanded goal earlier in this period. And from the scramble, they hit the post. A quick turnaround shot from the far side. Clanks off the ice. Parsley goes cross rink. And the shot ripples the outside of the net. That by Adrian Hasbargen. Parsley. Carlson. Hasbargen now. A tip in, and actually 2 tip-in tries. Neither one of them work. They center again. Madsen making a big save on DeMars and covers up once more. He is seeing his share of work here today.
Well, he sure has. Heron and DeMars doing a nice job around that area, trying to put the puck in right here. You'll watch number 11, DeMars, a little tip there, all of a sudden just a little bit wide, but he positions himself right in front. Look at the room he's got and the time he's got. No one in there on top of him. You've got to play him a little bit tighter there. And they were not able to do that. And you can see Colin Emmons coming back there to help out, but couldn't get to him. And DeMars with a good shot on the netminder.
Draw one by Hutchinson. It's taken behind the net by Eric Nelson. He shoots it around. Blocked far side by Hardwick. Still a minute to go on the power play. A nice passing play in front. The relay to Allwelling was made beautifully by Hepner. And then Allwelling gets some rough treatment back in the Hutchinson end as his teammates regroup at center. Bring it in onside. Here's Hepner moving in. Cuts to the middle, gets open. Centers it now, Allwelling. Back at the line, Marvin. Half minute of the power play. Hepner, point blank, and Matson robs him. And it's fired down the rink by Eric LeBrotten. 20 seconds left to go in the power play. And the Warriors bottled up a little bit in their own end. Hutchinson shorthanded, trying to get some pressure on. And now here's Marvin. Long lead. Allwelling. Fire. Oh, he didn't miss by much. Tanner Martell's last shot, just about 6 inches, maybe less than that, wide of the far post. Here's Martell. The penalty is over as Knorr is back on the ice. We're 5 skaters aside. Allwelling's centering pass is the skate, and look at Knorr fly. To center, 2-on-2. Sean Knorr centers, and it goes all the way through. Well, he wanted to atone for that penalty, and nearly did. That was an impressive rush. Now he comes back with a steal. Puck still in the zone, and then he is just flattened by Brian Cole.
The one thing the Warriors will do, they'll play man-on-man. They'll take the bodies every time. They're taught to do that by Coach Kerry Eads, that when those chances arise and all of a sudden you've got shots coming at you, make sure you at least get a man.
Where are they getting the chances here? The first one by Matt Cole was stopped by the goaltender Matson. Matson another save. That puck is still loose. And it comes to Papa, and he covers up. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with the 1997 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Looks like we're going to have a penalty here, Tom, on Brian Paulin.
Yeah, it's going to be Bucky who gets the penalty. It's going to be a roughing call in front of the net after the action. A little shot here in front of the netminder, Carl Matson, and you can see as the puck is down here, he's able to reach in here, grab on. Look, he's taking a couple shots in the back himself. That's Paulin to the left, and as he got up, he gave a little bit of a shove, and so that penalty for roughing will come at 9:35 of the second period.
I chose to call him Brian because the last time I used somebody's nickname, I turned Bo Johnson into Bo Jackson, and so I think I'll...
How would you change this one?
From... I don't think there is a...
Okay.
Let's make it Pat Paulson, but that would be a stretch, Tom, and you're making me stretch here. Donnie DeMars, right in front. Oh, Matson, a big move to knock it away from Jackson Heron. Boy, did Matson save the day there.
Boy, oh boy.
And a delayed offside at the Warroad blue line.
Well, somebody better wake up Justin Ferguson back there because the shots in this period are 17-0.
Yes.
In favor of Warroad. They now lead in that category 34-6 in this hockey game.
And it has been quite a day for Mr. Carlson. Another penalty coming up here. Well, I thought it was an offside at the line. I'd seen the linesman's arm up. I didn't see the penalty on DeMars. He gets a rough at 10:07. So Hutchinson will have a 2-man advantage. And it'll be a 2-man advantage for a minute 28. Well, if it's going to happen, it's going to have to happen for him now. Puck out of the zone and then back in. It was out of the zone by a fraction. So they're going to they're going to call this intentional. Wow. That's being pretty picky. That puck wasn't out by more than an inch.
Yeah.
And Knorr tried to keep it in the zone, and as he kept it in the zone, he had a stick handle with it once, and they reeled it was intentional. Well, down 2 men, Warriors win the faceoff. And it's back in the corner now. LeBrotten. And a stick that came apart. Emmons. Carlson with a hit on him. LeBrotten centers it. And it's wrapped loose again. Puck comes to the near side. Dolder. Back to the blue line. Martin moves in, fires. Nice save by Ferguson, and the rebound by Dolder high. Two-man skating advantage for the Tigers from Hutchinson. Here's Dolder, tees it up. He pushed it wide of the target. Sean Connor to pick it up. Dolder again. Fires right on, and Ferguson makes the save.
Justin Martin and also Kyle Dolder getting some opportunities on this two-man advantage, and you should get some chances when you've got that many extra players on the ice. These two guys moving the puck around, and the junior Kyle Dolder off to the right of the goaltender. You watch right here, control is everything. He comes over, all of a sudden the Dolder who's standing there, you can see how far out he is also. So it makes it a little bit easier for the goaltender from that position. At the same time, Dolder is one of those players also who can score a lot of goals. He has picked up a couple of hat tricks this season, one against Chaska in the final game to get to the state high school tournament.
Connor ready for the face-off.
Hutchinson went the first 10 minutes and 38 seconds with a shot on net.
They've had a couple pretty good ones here. Here's another one that may have gone off the base of the net, but I think Ferguson got a piece of it first.
Oh, boy.
And we have a player down and injured.
He may be out of the game. I'm not sure.
Oh, but he got back up. Was that Connor down in the... No, I beg your pardon. Was that Connor? But look at this. Joel Ryder. Oh, boy, he did draw some blood.
His helmet came off. He just took that stick, and I think the reaction, Frank, was very quick. As the helmet was coming off, he was coming down with a stick. And you look at the youngster here right now.
Bo Johnson is on. Well, let's stack this one up. Now the question is, major or minor?
It's got to be a major. Has to be a major. My question, I was concerned with whether they would call it intentional and throw him out of the game. And that may be the discussion right now. There's definitely a major penalty. Now the call comes, is it intentional? And if that's the case, it's a match penalty, and he will be out of this contest.
Well, some of the senior leadership on this team has tried to step forward and take some control of the tempo and how the team was playing. I don't know that they have lost any intensity, however. We have seen some either needless or, in this case, vicious penalties. 5 minutes up on the board, and Johnson is gone.
Yeah. And you know what? That I would have to agree with that call, Frank. Just the way he did that, because as the helmet was coming off, he came. Whenever you come across the facial area, you're opening the door to be removed from the game, especially in high school competition. Watch.
So far, so good there.
Yeah, no, watch here. You can see him come up with the arm right here now. As he pulls the helmet off,
oh, my.
I mean, he really came down with it. That's a major penalty. It's going to be called major cross-checking, and also a game which is intent to injure. Boy, oh boy.
That's cruel.
That is not what you want to see here.
Well, Hutchinson down 5-0. Have power play opportunities stacked upon one another here. There are 17 seconds remaining on the penalty to Paulin. Another 49 seconds remaining on the penalty to DeMars. And the major that's assigned to Bo Johnson won't kick in until the first one to Paulin is over. We'll have this power play after this break. We'll be right back with the 1997 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Frank, I've been watching a lot of high school hockey over the years. I don't think I've seen anything like this in a long time, and I'm glad I can say that. But this is not the type of play that they certainly condone in this. And I certainly don't think also that Johnson thought he was going to do something like this. But when that helmet comes off, you really open the opportunity as they go into along the boards here. And there's always like a scrum over there. You can see the players right here, and he comes in, but his helmet's already off.
Yeah,
that's when he comes through, boy. That's needless.
You know, that's not a strategic check. That's a vicious check there. And absolutely outrageous. The injured player is Joel Ryder. We hope that he's got all of those lower teeth. Now the draw to Hutchinson with a two-man advantage. They work it back to the line. Long shot wide of the target. Dustin Martin is lined up back at the point. Martin as well as Dolder. In the slot, a goal! It's a power play goal, and it comes in a very timely fashion. Sean Knorr puts Hutchinson on the board. It's 5-1.
Well, that may be the turning point for this contest right now, but they still trail by lots of time, Frank. There were 2 seconds left on that one penalty that will be taken away, and there's still a two-man advantage coming here. But what a nice play by Sean Knorr. We've talked about him and the ability this youngster has had in maneuvering the puck. He's been their biggest plus on this hot club so far. You control. No one to get there, but he moves to the center ice position, gives him a much better shooting angle, and all of a sudden, as he takes that shot, it's in the net. And so Knorr will get the goal. The assist going to Martin and also to Emmons, and that goal comes at 11:33 of the period. Nice shot by that youngster who is a senior and looking. Hopefully, he would like to play junior, perhaps in the USHL next year as a stepping stone to Division I.
Well, that was the reason I mentioned that it was a timely penalty, is that there was still 2 seconds left on the Pollen, which means the Pollen penalty is wiped out, but they still have a two-man advantage. They had it for roughly a half minute. There's only about 11 seconds on that two-man advantage now, as it's rushed in deep by Martin. He just hangs on to the puck. Martin right up the middle. Oh, I thought he was going to shoot. From the right side, a shot comes into the corner. Dolder. They dump it to the side. Right back to Dolder. He's wide open. Ferguson. A big save. A rebound. A goal. Sean Knorr with his second consecutive power play goal. And it's now 5-2 in favor of Warroad.
Oh, boy. Penalties can be very costly, and they are running that gamut right now with Hutchinson, as they've given up 2 goals with a man in the penalty box. Once again, you watch the play here as you try to control the power play, make the good things happen. The shot comes initially, but you've got to get back in front of the net. Now, you saw Knorr go to the outside. He came back in front. He didn't swing all the way around the net. He comes back in. He scores the second goal of this hockey game for his team, and the only 2 goals, and the assist will go to Dolder and also to Emmons.
Knorr with his 31st and 32nd goals of the season, and have given the Tigers of Hutchinson a lift. Now, with the major penalty that's still in effect against Bo Johnson, there's 4 minutes and 10 seconds of power play, and here comes Knorr. Will he get the natural hat trick? Stripped of the puck, trailing the play, back to pick it up is Emmons, who's assisted on each of the 2 power play goals. Martin, Dolder, cross rink, Knorr fires, Ferguson the save, but he leaves a big rebound and then covers up.
Well, he is going for it. What that has done now, those 2 goals have really given a lift to the Tigers, scoring the power play goals. And right now, this youngster who had virtually no shots in the first 10 minutes and 38 seconds of the second period now has been peppered with that man advantage going to the Tigers. Good passing play once again, shot coming down for the goaltender. Good V position as he goes down to cover up. And camped on the doorstep was Colin Emmons, as you mentioned, Frank, has picked up a couple assists on the last 2 goals. But there was no loose puck to be found.
And now a timeout is being called. I think Hutchinson might be taking a timeout. That top power play unit's been out for a while. And maybe they want to give him just Todd Grinner properly. He wants to give him just a little bit of a breather as well as to set some strategy.
Well, his team really still has a hole to come out of because they're down by 3 goals, but you want your best out there when you've got the advantage. And right now they have 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining on the major penalty that was called against Bo Johnson, that gives them some extra time here, and you want to use it to your utmost. And Kerry Eads right now out on the ice with his players mapping out some strategy. And although, he can't look back at the check right now and the one that gave him the 5-minute major, what he has to be concerned with how he's going to prevent some more goals being scored against his team and allowing the Tigers to get back into this contest.
He's ahead by 3 goals, by the way, folks, as you look at him. The intensity will not diminish, whether he's up by 3 or down by 6.
Yeah.
Should remind you that KMSP Television has purchased the broadcast rights to the 1997 Minnesota High School Hockey Tournament. No broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and account of this copyrighted telecast is permitted without the written authority of KMSP Television and the Minnesota State High School League. Two minutes, 17 seconds left in the period. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in this power play for Hutchinson. A block at the line. It's knocked down, kept in by Dolder. Dolder fires, and that's off a skate. It goes into the corner. Knorr there to pick up the puck. Hutchinson with the power play here, and because it's a major, the penalty will not rescind. So theoretically, they can get as many power play goals as they can stuff in there and cut down on this margin. Dolder fires. Ferguson blocks it away, and it's down behind the net to Emmons. Dolder. Martins fires. Ferguson turned it away, but was a little shaky on that one. Now out of the corner again. Knorr has it. He stick handles. He tried to flip it in front, but throws it away. And Warroad with a two-man rush to center. They look for Carlson in the slot, and he was tied up and couldn't get the shot off. The net has come loose, and so the whistle goes, and we'll have a stoppage face-off coming up. Andy Skugman down at ice level on an update, Andy, on Bo Johnson.
Yeah, Frank, I just talked to Skip Peltier, the Associate Director of the State High School League. He told me that Bo Johnson is out of the state tournament all games after today. It's a rule from the State High School League. Any ejection within the state tournament, you're out for the rest of the way in that tournament. So that's the update. Bo Johnson out of the state tournament.
Well, you certainly can't disagree with that. There's a look at Skip Peltier on the right there, making those decisions. Those are tough decisions, but you have to make them. And I shouldn't say they're tough.
Well, yeah.
They're designed to be tough because they don't want the nonsense to continue like it may have done years past in the minor leagues and so on. But this is a little bit different high school hockey, and Bo Johnson is certainly paying the price.
It is. It's a tough rule, and you can see why it's a tough rule, because there's a young man on the Hutchinson bench that's going to need some stitches, and might be lucky that that's all he needs.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you look at the teeth area, too, and, you know, we've talked about the fact that there are so many injuries taking place, serious injuries, when you look at the number of paralysis that have taken place, back injuries, neck injuries, and they need to do something to curtail it. And it's how people check and how you receive a check that I think coaches have to work pretty hard at teaching the players.
So there'll be one man short on the bench then for the rest of the tournament as well. The 20-man roster is what's allowed in the tournament. There's a minute to go in the period. 2.5 minutes to go in the major penalty. That is being served, I think, by Brian Cole. Zach Ogren wrapped away at center and flipped back in. A little earlier in the first period, Jesse Doherty was lost to injury. We're told he's back on the bench, but I haven't seen him skate a shift here in the second or the remainder of the first period after the injury. And right now, Hutchinson really bottled up in their own end, and Colin Emmons taking a pretty good punishment along the near boards. Matson making the save on that shorthanded shot. This period likely will come to an end with no further scoring chances, but Warroad picking up their hitting game here. Even though they're a man short, the horn goes, and the second period comes to an end. 1 minute and 32 seconds of the major penalty to Johnson will carry over to the next period, and I'm hesitating here because Kerry Eads is making a beeline to the scorer's table and calling the officials over, the referees. I'm sure he's not going to invite them out for dinner.
No, I would not think so. I think he may just be clarifying something, perhaps, and he looked pretty calm at this point as to whatever he's discussing. We're trying to find out what that is, but more importantly right now, he has to adjust because he will be without that man for the rest of the tournament, as you mentioned, Frank, and taking away one of your fellows back in that point position does hurt you somewhat. He's a big senior back there, and he gives him some physical presence and a good stay-at-home defenseman. But unfortunately for him and his team, he will be out. Right now, this fella Todd Grinna's got to come back here and pick up some more goals.
Jeff, you look like you're ready. No chance to get pretty there. You don't have to anyway.
All right.
Talk to Todd Grinna.
All right, thanks, Frank. Coach, a wild second period. First, your thoughts on the hit that brought about the major?
Well, that was real inappropriate. They don't need to play that way. They're a great hockey team, and it was a bad decision by their player to do that. They don't need to play like that. They're killing us on the rink, and it took them out of the game and gave us 2 goals and give our guys some life to get back into it, hopefully in the third period.
What are you going to tell them now? Like you said, you bounced back with 2. All of a sudden, instead of 5-zip, it's 5-2 going to the third.
Well, we just got to make sure we keep our heads out there because they'll continue to run around and play physical. And if they want to play in the penalty box all night or the rest of the third period, we'll stay on the power play and see what happens.
How is Joel Ryder, the player who was hit?
He's okay. He just had a little cut on his lower lip, but he'll be back in the game in the third period.
All right, Todd, thanks. Good luck in the third period.
Thank you.
That's Todd Grinna from Hutchinson. The Tigers are back in this one. It's 5-2 going to the third. Back with more, including in the Civic Center, everybody. Our first game, it may seem like it's already over, but a very eventful second period as Hutchinson got back into this one. Jeff Grayson along with Andy Skoogman, a 5-minute major and an ejection by the Warroad player. We'll get to that in a second. We want to bring you up to date on Joel Ryder of Hutchinson. He was just being treated by the doctor. He's got some chipped teeth. He's probably going to have to change his jersey because the one he was wearing was bloody. He's going to need some stitches for that cut as the game took an ugly turn in the second period.
Yeah, no question about it. I talked with Skip Pelletier, as I said earlier, late in the second period, and he said that Bo Johnson is out of the state tournament from here on out. Any ejection results in the expulsion of the player from the entire tournament. So Warroad will have to do without their senior defenseman.
Now the question Frank and Tom were talking about after the ejection, do the Warriors get to dress somebody else in future games to make up for the loss of Johnson?
They do not. According to Skip Pelletier, again, he said any ejection that's not for medical reasons, then the team will be 1 shy. So the Warroad Warriors are going to have to try to do it without, not only without Bo Johnson, but without a replacement for him as well. So not good for Warroad.
As soon as Johnson left the ice and Ryder went down, he got back up kind of defiantly. The Hutchinson fans almost got up right away as if to say, yeah, we might be down a little bit, but we're not out, and they came back with 2 on the power play.
Right, no question about it. They took this, they used this to their advantage. They scored 2 goals. They may be back in it. The momentum seems to have shifted to Hutchinson, at least at the end of the second period.
But as you say, Warroad is shorthanded in this one and future games should they hang on this one. A couple of quick headlines. Peyton Manning, the Tennessee quarterback, will stay in school and come back for his senior year, and Desmond Howard leaves the Packers to sign with the Oakland Raiders. We'll have the third period, but first we'll also have Frank and Tom's thoughts after this break on an eventful second period as the state hockey tournament continues. Led 5-0 after the first period. Hutchinson comes back after that 5-minute major and ejection of Warroad's Bo Johnson. It is now 5-2 as we go to the third period in just a moment. This is Jeff Grayson back at the St. Paul Civic Center as our first game coverage continues here of the boys state hockey tournament. And we're going to send it up to Frank and Tom in a second, but it looks like the omen of this one was set like in the first 20 seconds when a player went down, guys. Hard-hitting game, and as you guys mentioned, kind of an ugly play there. It sort of turned the tide a little bit. Let's go upstairs to Frank and Tom.
Jeff, also along those lines, would like to repeat the thoughts of Coach Grinna. Warroad is a fine hockey team. They don't need to resort to that type of intimidation, but they've made 4 trips here. They have arguably in either the the Tier 2 or the Class A tournaments could be described as the toughest team to come into this tournament.
Yeah, they play a very tough schedule. There's no question. They play against some pretty good teams like the Rosso, and they're always, great rivals. But you watch it here once again. The bad thing is here, when you start using the stick in that fashion, when there's no respect, and that's when you talk to professionals, when you talk to college players or high school players and so on, the one thing they have got to get back to is respecting the other player, especially when it comes to situations like that. The helmets, the face masks, the mouth guards are great because they take away a lot of injuries. At the same time, it almost gives the player a feeling that they're invincible, that they can't be hurt. And as a result, you get a lot of players who will take a stick and purposely hit another player in the head area to just try to scare them a little bit.
Got to remember, there's a human being inside that bucket. Got to take care of them all. Warroad with a 5-2 lead. We'll be back after this timeout on UPN 9. On shots on goal, and to do that, let's open the book. We'll look at the U.S. West Dex shots on goal chart. Look at there, 19 shots on goal in the second period, and they've outshot them 35-14. Warroad has. And in terms of quality chances, another edge to Warroad, 37-12. And a look at the Civic Center, brought to you by our GMC Skycam. And the guys were right. Second period turned into be a rather noteworthy period.
What's interesting also, Frank, is before those 3 penalties, there were 0 shots by Hutchinson. Once they got the penalties against Warroad, Hutchinson had 8 shots on net, resulting in 2 goals.
And they are within 3 now. They have 92 seconds of power play coming back. All of us here in the Twin Cities and at the Civic Center want to pass on a special welcome to those of you watching up at the Duluth area on KDLH television. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to everyone across the great state of Minnesota watching this 1997 Minnesota State High School Hockey League Minnesota State High School League Hockey Championship. That H in there is not for hockey because it's more than just hockey. It's basketball and dramatics and speech, wrestling, the whole bit. You get the picture. All right, the Tigers, no surprise, send Knorr out, but he has a new winger up there with them. They brought Ryan Caping up on this line as a forward on the power play unit. And they'd love to get at least 1 more here, and perhaps 2. But this hasn't been a team that's generated a lot of offense here today. Here's Caping to center, and he flips it in. And a race for the puck. Colin Evans behind the net. There's nowhere to go. Dolder to Emmons. Looking for Knorr. He'll have to make something happen there. Couldn't do it. And it's shot down the rink by Hasbargen.
Once again, it was Matt Allwelling and Hasbargen doing a good job working together to get possession of that puck and shoot it down.
Played out to center ice by Justin Martin. Dolder brings it in. They might have a chance here. A drop to Knorr. Oh, he had Ferguson reaching, but the shot missed the net. When you get a goaltender reaching, that means you're putting a puck where he isn't. But unfortunately, for Knorr, it was way wide. LeBrotten trying to dig it free. Martin keeps it in at the line. That shot off a shin pad and right back out at center. And that'll do it on that major penalty. 1 more rush. Knorr brings it in, but they're offside. 6 seconds now still remain on that penalty to Bo Johnson, which I thought would expire before any further whistles.
Colin Emmons was a little bit quick on that left wing position. He just jumped the gun a little bit as Sean Knorr had possession of the puck, but had made one last little deke coming over that blue line. Kerry Eads adjusting his troops a little bit with the loss of, we talked about, with Bo Johnson. And you got me saying it.
No, you said it all by yourself. So the penalty is over. The minor was served by Cole, and he is back on. 5 skaters aside. So with a rash of 3 straight penalties, Tigers were able to score 2 power play goals in there, giving themselves a breath of life. And Cole in after the puck. This is Brian Cole, number 21. And Bucky Collin trying to help out there as well. Dolder brings it to center. Into the Warroad end, shoots it wide of the target. Back at the left point, it's kept in, and that long shot by Jesse Doherty, who is seeing, I think, his first shift since being shaken up early. Doherty leans into one and shoots it high. And behind the net now, Ogren. And Eric LeBrotten goes after it. So Knorr and teammates like Justin Martin and Kyle Dolder, who have been out a long time, giving a little spell of rest here with Ogrim out. And now icing here against Warroad. So Hutchinson will have a 200-foot territorial advantage. With the score, Warroad 5 and Hutchinson 2. This is High School Hockey 97, live from the Civic Center. We're early in the 3rd period. Some fans already filtering in for the second game of this session. Ooh, there is a shot by Ryder that went wide of the target. Second game will feature Proctor in its first state tournament appearance against Maura Hinckley Finlayson, commonly known as the Mustangs. That'll be game 2. Coming up after this one, a bounce of the puck, and it's grabbed by Emmons. Ooh, he shoots and he shot it wide. They're trying to pick the far corner. There's going to be a penalty coming up here on Warroad, I believe. Hutchinson with control, a shot and a goal! And they are within 2. Ryan Caping with an early goal here in the third.
Oh, what a nice goal that was. Also, Ryan Caping was also the player that was interfered with initially. And there was going to be a penalty call, I believe, against Hardwick for interference. But as the delayed penalty was taking place, all of a sudden, the sophomore came out of that corner position and picked up on that puck and was able to put behind the netminder to bring his team to within 2. That goal coming at 3:05 of the third period.
Big goal.
You can see the confusion happening right here. Caping just comes out from not a real good angle there. He puts it in. And the assist will go to number 27, Justin Martin, and also to number 7, Colin Emmons, who picks up his 3rd assist in this game.
Well, he has quietly gone about having a very big game, Emmons has. Caping gets just his 5th goal of the year. It's a 2-goal game right now, and playing deep, but icing against Hutchinson. Well, they are far from being out of the woods, but they are in the midst of a moderate rally here, if you will.
Well, he has not played a lot of games this year, Frank, and the reason for that is because of the injuries. Broke his thumb, had a pin put into the thumb, which is now out, but also he suffered a shoulder separation, and it has not come back to 100% where he'd like it to be right now, but he's a very hard-nosed, gritty type player, and he has scored another big goal for his hockey team.
From the face-off, it's back at the blue line. Hardwick keeps it in, but his shot in the air and then back out at center ice. Hasbargen playing it in. Oh, a big turnover, and a shot by Hepner goes into the corner. Will they put it right on his stick? Now a centering pass is blocked at the side, and it's worked up by Martin on the near boards. Played right back around by Martell to the Hutchinson line. And the Warriors regain control. Hardwick tries it to the near side. Martell shooting it in. Just under 11 minutes to go in the third period. And Hutchinson clawing its way back in. Pass by Martin, that's broken up. And it's loose back in the Hutchinson zone. They better scoot after this one because Allwelling had his eyes on the puck. Cross-rink pass by Ryder right under the stick, and now it's knocked away. Carlson back to get it. They play it out at center. And just off the bench to play it ahead was Zach Ogren. From center, played in by Mark Carlson. Not out of the zone yet. Cole moves in. His shot goes in the air behind the net. Oh, and there was a near check from behind. The check was thrown by Wendling, and he hit Matt Cole. Now loose in the corner. Ryder has a piece of it. He's jammed up there. That's Jesse Doherty now, along with Ryder working back there. That was Doherty with the puck. And loose at the side and shot around. And right now, Warroad with a one, maybe a two-man forecheck. They have the Tigers bottled up pretty good. In the middle of a line change at center ice, it's knocked away from Ryder. Hutchinson back to get it. This is Calder. Whoops, Kyle Calder throws it away. He gave it to Parsley. Parsley stopped at the line. They tip it ahead to Calder in the middle of a change. Kyle Calder upended. A puck is in the slot, and it's hauled right back out of there. And bodies are flying every which way. Here's a 5-on-1. A big block. Matson makes the save. They jam away at the rebound, but it won't go. A 5-on-1 rush, and Matson comes up huge. 9:12 to go in regulation. I don't know if I've ever seen a 5-on-1.
It would not be that one, I'll tell you that.
How do you defend on that one?
Oh, boy.
Here comes Carlson. And that shot right on, and Matson holds on. Maybe that shot was blocked in front, but another player shaken up for the Tigers. The score, Warroad 5 and Hutchinson 3. This is High School Hockey 97, live from the Civic Center.
It's going to be a great opportunity for the Tigers right here. All of a sudden, the puck has dropped back, and transition game is so important. Look at all the white jerseys taken off, and all of a sudden, a little miscue right there. You keep on going with the play if you can. And that's exactly what Mark Carlson does. Coming in, he has 2 goals on the play. On the afternoon game here, comes in, makes a pass across. Look at the shots taking place also. And the goaltender, Carl Madsen, who has been pretty well tested in this game, comes up with some other big saves for them.
Probably number 9 there is Josh Karg in front of the net. He is the player to be injured, but at least not out of that skirmish there. I don't know if it was a shot that he took that has him stunned.
I think it was a shot that hit him, Frank. He was, as a defenseman back there, you're going to block a lot of shots. This youngster can shoot right here, too. There's the shot coming, and you can see there's nobody around him. He just took it. It looked like he took him in the knee area, and he went down pretty heavily. But Mark Carlson, the senior, has got a terrific shot, very heavy shot. And we look at it once again here. You see the player going down here. One was going to block and thought, no, I don't think I will.
Oh, yeah, you can see right there it hit him in the knee.
Yep. And then the opening there.
The pad sort of comes around, but not way around.
Well, we have a report from
and this guy's now a 6-3 game. A critical face-off in the Hutchinson end. The Warriors get it and rifle it home. And that one will sting the Tigers, but shows, I think, Tom, the polish of this Warroad team.
Frank, this team can score goals. I mean, they are well disciplined. They play a very aggressive, physical style of play. And, face-offs, as we have talked about in the past, are so important. But winning the draw was the result of Matt Olwelling getting the puck back over to his left winger, Josh Hepner, who just takes the puck and just goes in and fires it between the netminder. And Hepner gets the goal. And a big goal it is for his team right now to give him a 3-goal edge.
Madsen in the midst of a scramble, but makes another big save. Allwelling gets the only assist. It's at 6:07. So the Warriors are able to answer 3 minutes and 2 seconds after Hutchinson pulled within 2. Just 8.5 minutes left in regulation. Puck played around by Jay Hardwick. And Ferguson watches the puck hop behind the net. Hardwick knocks it around again. Martell with a long right wing feed. It's skipped away from Allwelling, and it'll be icing against the Warroad Warriors.
Well, we have a report from our statistician here, Bob Showers, who's telling us that the suspension by Bo Johnson may be the first for the tournament. At least it is in the past 22 years. The record's going back, so that's not certainly something that...
it's not a badge of honor.
No, it's not. It's not what they're looking for, obviously.
And then, on the other hand, that could be good news, that it hasn't happened more frequently, or maybe ever before. Ferguson makes the save on the long shot by Corey Johnson. Parsley brings it to center, 3-on-1. Parsley moving in, gets a shot off. Madsen makes the save. He has been a busy man. He has now faced 40 Warroad shots on goal and has given up 6. He has been under siege here today.
And Lee Marvin, the defenseman, the freshman defenseman, who's got some, probably one of the quickest players that you'll find in this tournament, at least he is on the Warriors, who's coming up there looking for a loose puck as well. Control is the key issue right here, and all of a sudden when you've got Drew Parsley coming in, doing a nice job, and going and taking the shot himself, you can see the goaltender Madsen making the save, and looking coming in there is Lee Marvin, the freshman, who I think is probably got some pretty good potential to be a top-ranked player.
Both schools out with their top lines, the Sean Knorr line, and this run pass from behind, little rough at the side of the net again. And Warroad celebrates its 7th goal of the game.
Oh, I tell you, that's one of those goals that becomes a little easier too when you've got the right player handling the puck there, and that's what was happening behind the net. It was Tanner Martell doing a nice job of controlling it. He gets it out to Josh Hepner, who's standing all by himself in front of the net again, giving him the 2nd goal in succession here. You watch right here, control behind the net. You see the little play coming right here as Allwelling gets it back there, and there's the play right over to Tanner Martell, who is able to get that puck without any difficulty right up to Josh Hepner, who's in front of the net. You tell the players, make sure somebody's in front of the net. That's where it happens. And he puts it away, as you mentioned, Frank. 4-goal lead by the Warroad Warriors at this point in the game.
Hefner gets 2, his 16th and his 17th. Martell, the assist on this one, at least one of the assists. The other assist going to Allwelling. At the line, a long one by Lee Marvin again, getting rid of that puck in a hurry. Puck fairly unplayable. Maybe touch somebody on the bench. Well, we'll have a face-off. So Hefner with the last 2, and Warroad continues a bit of a trend here and scoring in bunches. 3 goals in the first period in a span of about 4 minutes.
Yeah,
they scored 2 in the first period, about a minute 20 apart. And now these 2 goals are a minute 12 seconds apart.
This team can score some goals, there's no question. They've got some pretty high-powered players out there, but the key also to them is the fact they play so well together. It's not just an individual effort, it's a team effort.
Yeah, that 5-on-1 breakout at their own end was a perfect example of that. You had probably 10 feet going in the same direction within about a quarter of a second. And they were up and moving.
Probably a good thing they don't allow goaltenders to come up from the play.
Well, Ferguson got as far as the blue line on that one, but he didn't want to chance it on the red line. Off a skate, it's kicked out at center, and there's 6:30 left in regulation. The Tigers caught in the change. Madsen kicks out a long shot, and a big hard one taken by Hasbargen. Martin. And Justin Martin battles to get it in front. Blocked at the line. Oh, they couldn't control. And it's flipped back in by Hutchinson. So Warroad here on the verge of taking the first successful step in defending their title. They move in 2-on-2. And Hefner's centering pass goes to the doorstep again. Interception. Hardwick centers it. That changes direction. Now Hardwick, the defenseman, in deep. Plays it back to the line, and I think he took his eyes off the puck, Carlson did, a little too soon. Ferguson out there to play it away from Ryan Caping. And the Warriors lose control of the puck. A good play by Eric LeBrotten to step up and grab the loose puck. But unable to control, they bring it in onside. Allwelling centers it in the slot. Hefner, and that shot goes behind the net. Hefner, Carlson. Nice save by Madsen again, and he holds on. And that little tassel on the back of his helmet starts flopping around as he makes the save. The score is Warroad 7 and Hutchinson 3. This is High School Hockey 97, live from the Civic Center.
Shot coming from that point position right now is Mark Carlson looking for the hat trick. Coming in here, taking the shot. Good shooting angle. Look at the traffic in front also of the netminder, Carl Madsen, as he is able to go down.
Look how he flipped that tassel right up to the front there, and it's all in one motion. I thought that was superb. We have a false face-off. We'll do it again. Hutchinson being outshot 44-16. That means they only had 2 shots on goal in this period. Tough way to stage a rally.
Yeah, they're playing against a pretty good hockey club.
There they are. And a pretty good team offside at the line as it was skated into the zone by Matt Cole. Cole, the senior winger, and a good role player on this line with Bucky Paulin and Brian Cole on the other side. They are listed by Kerry Eads as his second line. I think these guys are part of the work corps that come in and do a good job of checking and making some things happen, get some mileage out of the third line.
That's exactly what that line is, Frank, and they play just a regular shift, too, and Kerry Eads knows full well that, you've got to have players who can score goals, but you need players also that can do the gritty type thing, and as you mentioned with the 2 Coles and Paulin there, they do a great job of doing that.
4.5 left in regulation. Hardwick. And that shot was deflected, takes off, and hits some of the seats. There is a Class A souvenir. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back with the 1997 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Warroad 7, Hutchinson 3 at the Scenic Civic Center the being renovated Civic Center. Well, I guess the auditorium part is the actual arena here.
They put in new seats all over the lower section. Spent about $1.5 million.
Martin, nice job to get it to center. Justin Martin trying to break in past Hardwick. And it's flipped by by Joe Allwelling this time. Out of the zone, back in, the offside call. And 4:01 on the clock.
Well, right now, when you talk about Warroad, we've mentioned Cal Marvin, who is a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. But there's also some other pretty good players that have come out of that area, the likes of Henry Boucher, the Christian brothers, ex-Olympians, with Christian, Billy, and Roger, and Gordy. And then you got Dave Christian, who played in the 1980 gold medal team.
This is a school that sold some 3,000 tickets for the section championship. There's only, 1,800 people in town?
But the Stelpos were out that night, weren't they?
Oh, boy, I bet they were. Wonder how many voters they turned out on election night. Probably all within the legal limit. They have a monumental 7-3 lead here over Hutchinson. Matson making another big save, and now it's played by Dolder off to center. And right back by Marvin, who gets it in on the far side. And they are into the mode of going through the motions now, I would say, on both sides. Here's Martell. Oh, that wasn't going through the motions. He was headed for the corner on that shot, and it just missed the far pipe. From center, it's driven in deep by Eric LeBrotten. And now a sweeping play by Dolder, but he can't come up with a puck. Here comes Hasbargen to center ice. Broken up at the blue line. And a giveaway. Brian Cole makes a deke. Lost control of it. And it's swept around again. Eric Nelson trying to get it around behind his net for some protection. It's back to the blue line. Hardwick throws it in deep. Out of the corner, Brian Cole. He can't control it. And here's Kyle Wendling getting it out of the zone. 2.5 minutes to go. Lead pass to Matt Cole. And he throws it in deep. And the Warriors will complete their line change. Pressing the play, Drew Parsley, who centers it. That was tipped away at the last second. Played in deeper by DeMars. And Donnie DeMars' pass is taken away. It's cleared by Summerfield, but not out of the... Well, I guess he did get it out of the zone. And it's brought back in by Mark Carlson offside.
Now look at the captain right now. One of 3 players to have 2 goals in this hockey game. And really the guy who really started to open things up and has had a very strong game. It's interesting, Frank. You watch him. He has not had a lot of goals on the year, but he certainly is making his presence felt in this particular game.
4th and his 5th here today. Carlson now back to get it at his own line. Another 2 minutes left. Mark Carlson with a drop pass. Here comes Parsley. And out of the scrap, Parsley waiting for it. And finally, Heron had a piece of it, but it went behind the net. Calder waits for the puck. He is tied up. Hardwick in there. And back to the line. DeMars goes cross rink. They had Matson going from left to right there, but the shot was wide of the target. DeMars to Hardwick. It's tipped ahead. Finally controlled by Emmons. Colin Emmons, who has picked up a couple of assists here for the Tigers. He's had a very strong game. And now it's back out at center ice. 1:13 to go. Worked back in by Carlson. Carlson in deep. And a Warroad player was upended in the crease. There's going to be a Hutchinson penalty coming up here. Carlson gets it. They're going to pull Ferguson for an extra skater. Long shot. That's off a body. And now the whistle goes. The penalty will be coming up. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back with the 1997 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
It is going to take place against Hutchinson, and it's going to be Colin Emmons who picked up the penalty. It's going to be for interference against Drew Parsley right at the net area. You can see him knock him down. The referee in a good position to make the call. And so the Warriors, who have not let up in this contest, even though they lead by 4, Frank, their work ethic has been tremendous. They are not going to sit still. They want some more goals.
This will be their fourth power play of the game. They have a very big lead, and there's under a minute to go in this contest. So back to the line. Card. Or make that Hasbargen shot. Cole knocks it around. And to the blue line again for Marvin. Hasbargen. And his centering pass all the way through. Collin was well covered. And another delayed penalty coming up on Hutchinson. So they pull their goaltender again. And finally the Tigers get control and shoot it down.
Yeah, this time it's going to be a slashing call that is going to take place, and it's going to go against, as you mentioned, it's going to be against Hutchinson once again.
I suppose that's a reflex action, even though you're up by 4 goals, less than a minute left. And a delayed penalty. The goalie heads for the bench for an extra skater.
Eric Nelson will pick up the penalty, the sophomore defenseman. One, you get another one, and hurt your team, especially when you got to play against a team like this. But there's only 26 seconds to go in this game. Slash. Boy, you look at some of these penalties, slash and roughing and cross-checking and match penalty.
Been a tough one out there today.
Yeah, it really has been.
Matson makes a big save, but lost the rebound. Two-man skating advantage for Warroad. This puck shot all the way down. Well, let's see if they make one more effort. Well, they're playing it ahead. 6 seconds remain. Knocked down at the line. One more chance in close. A backhand stopped by Matson at the horn as Joe Allwelling came in. And Warroad will move on to the semifinals of the Class A championship bracket. And Hutchinson, making its second appearance, will be hoping to gain another consolation title as they did 2 years ago. They were beat solidly here 7-3 in a 49-shot barrage by Warroad. One of the captains, Mike Bjurlin of Hutchinson, and their coach. They head off. This team that really can hold its head up high, Tom. Todd Grinner, the coach of this team, they were in a very much an underdog role here, and I think left it all on the ice.
No, they did, Frank, and I think Todd said it probably best as the coach of the Tigers yesterday when he called it the David and Goliath matchup, and that's what it turned out to be, because this Warroad team that has certainly come to play and been instrumental in winning some championships over the last few years. This is their fourth straight tournament, as Frank said earlier. They have 2 firsts and a third in that stretch, and they just continue to shine here and do extremely well as you watch the players go off the ice. But right now, Warroad, they get to the championship side, and the Tigers, they go to the consolation side. So there's still games left for both of these teams. And right now, this Warrior team can feel pretty good at how they competed out here and how they played, because they certainly were well prepared, well coached, and the result they certainly show that they are a team that deserves the high ranking they get in the state. You bet. You know, Kerry said a good thing also. It's like we have a target on our back. We have a big bullseye. Everybody's out to get us because we are the champion. Getting there is one thing. Maintaining that level is certainly another thing. And he says we're playing against teams all the time. You look at Loso and the battles they have back and forth this year was we're winning on those battles to get to this point. But it is so true. Everybody wants to be the champion all the time. So you really have to maintain that high level and intensity all the way through.
He may be a little bit concerned with having given up more goals this season as a team than they did last year. But certainly their defensive play would not be faulted here today, allowing Hutchinson 3 goals against as they beat them 7-3. And the winning coach, Kerry Eads, is standing by right now with our own Jeff Grayson.